guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to go over how to create a 3D GIF, and not just any 3D GIF, but a Hypersmooth 3D GIF. This is essentially an update video to a video I posted 4 or 5 years ago on how to create a 3D GIF with just your iPhone. So in today's technique, we're going to show you how to take a photo or how to mimic what the Nishka N8000 or any similar stereoscopic film camera does. It takes a photo from 4 slightly offset angles, and when you stitch those 4 photos together, you can actually create a stereoscopic or parallax image left to right. So yeah, in today's video, we're going to do what this camera does, but I'm going to show you how to do it with any camera. You can do this with your iPhone. Today we're going to do it with an SLR. You can do it with other types of film cameras, but essentially the technique is applicable to any camera. So obviously the first step before editing the photos is actually taking the photos. I'm going to head over to Shinjuku with my buddy Seidai, and I'll show you a couple tips on how to set up the photos and actually take the shots. There's a couple key things that you need to keep in mind in order to make sure that the shots come out smooth and the actual GIF looks natural. Again, if you like this video, please, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. Create weekly creative content from here in Tokyo. So yeah, let's head over to Shinjuku. So we're in Shinjuku, I'm here with Seidai, and today I'm going to show you real quickly how to, first of all, set up a 3D, and also some tips that'll help you make sure that it's super smooth. So once you have your subject placed, as you have wherever you want in your scenario or your environment, you're going to want to make sure that your subject stays completely still as you take these photos. You don't want him to move or twist or change his position. You want to make sure that he's still. When you actually go ahead and do the GIF and blend all the photos together, there's not going to be any sort of odd movement. It's going to seem like he's frozen in time. So once you've got your subject set up, the environment set up, there's not too much going around and you've got them in place. The keys here are, when you're taking your 4 photos from left to right or right to left or up to down or whatever, you're making sure that each photo is equidistant from the other so that the 4 photos are equally distanced apart. This is very important when you're finally stitching the photos together. The other key here is that as you're taking your photos, you want to make sure that your plane is horizontal if you're doing a horizontal 3D. You want to make sure that you don't go down, and then you also want to make sure that you don't go up or rotate your camera in any way. You want to make sure that your camera is perpendicular to your subject, and also the plane that you're actually taking these photos on is steady and horizontal the whole time you take these photos. So those are the 2 key things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me turn my ISO up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take 4 or 5 rounds just to make sure that I've got it, and later let's go ahead and stitch these all in Photoshop and then finally Premiere Pro. Okay, so the first step is in Photoshop to go ahead and open up all 4 images that you've shot. So right now I have 5, 6, 7, 8. That's left to right, the shots that I shot of Seidai. We have a train coming here in the background. We did this on purpose because we wanted to make the background glitchy. So the more the stuff that you have going on in the background, the more sort of artifacting you have, because when you go ahead and stitch these together, if you don't use the final step in Premiere Pro, which is Optical Flow, then you won't have this artifacting because it'll just be like a regular GIF. But if you want to make it super smooth, the actual 3D part will be super smooth in the background. Depending on how busy it is, you'll either have less artifacting or more artifacting. So the first thing is that we're just going to drag all these images into one. Okay, so now that we have all of our images right now layered on top of each other, the first thing we're going to do is set a rotation point. So right now I'm thinking I usually keep something central, something in the center of his gravity. So let's say that because I want the image to rotate around Seidai, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick something that's really easy to layer on top of each other. So I'm going to use his necklace for this one. So we have the eyes turned off for all the layers. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and make sure that each layer, I'm going to turn to 50% opacity. And I'm just going to line them up, each one, as best as I can. They don't have to be perfect. So I'm going to use this part of his necklace right here. What I like to do is press 5, which turns to 50% opacity, and then use the arrow keys to kind of just move into place. Turn 0, press 0 again to turn back to 100% opacity, and then turn on and off to make sure that I'm somewhat close. Okay. So if we go ahead and toggle through everything, we'll notice that he moves his head slightly, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. But you can tell that his necklace is pretty central, which is what we want. The other tip here is that oftentimes I see in these 3D GIFs that this is like an extra step, which ensures like super smooth, super 3D. I don't know how to explain it. Like make it look more realistic. Is that as we toggle through these, you can kind of tell that I'm slightly tilting clockwise with each frame. You can kind of tell with this. So like oftentimes in the edges, you'll see stuff that doesn't quite align. What I like to do is actually align these. So if I Command T, which is a transform, turn this to 50% opacity. Let's do that first. If you hold down Option, it'll allow you to set a center point for rotation. We'll click the spot that we already aligned because we don't want to change that. And what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and try to align the edges here. Okay. So now, as we rotate, I don't know if you noticed that, but it looks more realistic. It looks more like it's it's perpendicular to my subject. So we'll go ahead and repeat this for each one. This is like an extra step that I don't see anybody else really do often, but I think it's like an attention to detail that makes a big difference. Cool, and then finally, and you can kind of tell the jump there. See how it's like rotating a little bit? This is because as I was shooting it, I wasn't completely perpendicular. And this always happens, I always do this, so. Okay, now as we toggle through it, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but in my mind, it just looks more smooth. So now that you'll notice that some of these obviously are not fully in frame, what you're gonna do is select all of them, Command T, and you're just gonna make sure that your final image, all these images are fully like in frame. So first one's good, second one's good, third one's good, fourth one's good. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So once you have your images set up, it's layered. What you're gonna do is press timeline, create frame animation, and then you're gonna create 6 frames. The second one, turn on. Third one, turn on the third one, and the 4th through 6, you have the third layer, or the final layer turned on. So, sorry if that was quick. Really quickly. 1, first frame. 2, second frame. 3, third frame. 4, 5, and 6, same last frame. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna press 6, the final frame. Hold Shift, or you just select all these 6 frames. Just makes it quicker. Press Other. What works for me is 0.12 seconds. So this is the amount of time that each frame is on screen. Press space to test it out. And this is gonna be your 3D right here. If you press space, it's just gonna play for you. So once you have your 3D set up, you're gonna press File, Export, Save for Web. And the other thing I like to do is I like to turn this down because I don't really need like a huge GIF for this. I mean, you can have any size for this image size. Some of the presets that I've used that often work well for me are, obviously you need to have it as a GIF or GIF or whatever you call it. Adaptive, color 256, dither 100%, and I keep it on diffusion. And you can screenshot this if you want and apply this to yours. Okay, we're gonna press save. Okay, now let's go ahead and head into Premiere Pro. So you create a new project. Let's drag this into our media sequence here. Okay, we have our 3D GIF. There's a few things that you need to do first right off the bat. Go to sequence settings, turn this to 24 frames per second. Okay. The next thing you want to do is right click or double click, go down to speed and duration, turn this to 30%, and then this is the key, turn on Optical Flow. Immediately you're gonna see red, that means it needs a render. What we'll do is press enter. Okay. As you can see, let me turn this to full. There is a 3D GIF going on here, and the background is very artifacty, but this is exactly what we wanted, or what I wanted in this instance. The other thing that you'll notice is that you're gonna have to trim the beginning and the ends. So usually it's like 11 frames. It's like a pretty good, yep, there you go. You can test it, it's starting to move, and then usually on like 17 frames from the bottom or the back. I think like right here is good. I'm gonna nest this, duplicate it by holding Option, dragging up, right click, speed duration, reverse it so that it loops. The other thing I like to do is that if I just have it going, I like to delete the first frame so it's not pausing in the middle. Now we press enter. Cool. Nest this again. Now you can just duplicate it how many times you want. Cool. As you can notice, He's slightly moving his head, so it's kind of like not perfect, but there's a little bit of artifacting just depending on your lighting. But you can tell there's a super smooth kind of 3D motion going on here. And in the background, there's like this weird artifacting, which is what we wanted with the train moving. The other thing I like to do is I like to export this. Just like to do H.264. Okay. Okay, now it's kind of slow. Once I've exported it once, I'll re-import that exported video. And you can speed it up however you like to do it. Maybe it's a little bit too fast, so I'll do like 150%. So now you can speed this to whatever speed you want, and you have a 3D GIF with super smooth frame interpolation. That's what this does. Optical Flow is it builds frames in between. So obviously when we shot it, we only took 4 photos, and this kind of allows you to control the lateral movement of the GIF. You could achieve these same results by tracking perhaps like the middle of someone's face and then just slightly panning as a video, but it's not quite as, there's something about this technique where it makes it almost look super mechanical. Yeah, it's a super unique way to add movement into your photos to create something that's looping. Loops are pretty big now on social media, so yeah, it's a great way to experiment with a new style of photography. So I hope you learned something. So I've been doing this process for over 5 years now. I've been practicing with a lot of different mediums, obviously with this initially, and then I try to mimic this with other types of cameras. The fun thing is really getting creative. You can do this with fisheye lenses. You can do this with different various focal lengths. The sort of depth of field changes the more that you change your focal length. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can make this really fun, really creative. It's great for portraits and it's great for product photography, and it's something that you can add to your repertoire of images. It's kind of an interesting technique, so I think the more that you practice it, the better you'll get at it. I've been doing it for a long time, still not perfect. But it's a lot of fun, and it's something that I like to throw in a lot into my videography and also my photography and client work and also personal work. So yeah, hope you learned something. Really appreciate you watching until the end. And again, please subscribe if you like the video. Stay tuned to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.